An estimated 4 million Americans now regularly indulge in cross-country skiing. Peanuts compared to golfers and swimmers and courthouse bench sitters. But cross-country skiing is the fastest growing outdoor recreation in this country, adding about 1.5 million participants a year. And much of that popularity is due to the remarkable achievement of Bill Koch at the '76 Olympics. He'll be in Lake Placid, raring to go again. So here's a look at him and his no longer esoteric sport.
Green wax, he shouldn't be slipping.
These are the cream of this country's crop of cross-country skiers. 410 young men on a marrow-chilling morning on Mont Sainte-Anne, Quebec, as they competed in the national championships. 9 of them will represent this country at the Winter Olympics in Lake Placid. The cream of the cream is Bill Koch, the only American ever to win an Olympic medal in this Nordic sport. The nationals, scheduled for New Hampshire last month, had to be moved to Canada for want of snow in the United States. That didn't bother Bill Koch.
We were real lucky to have a place like this to have snow, because this is probably the most perfect place really in the world to train for Lake Placid if you can't actually be in Lake Placid.
After a brief workout to unlimber, Koch changed into his racing clothes and greased his face against the wind and the cold that can freeze your sweat before it falls.
One thing I don't want to confuse is the way racing for elite athletes feels compared to just going skiing for the average tourist. The kind of racing that I do is very tough, very demanding, and to be honest with you, it really hurts a lot.
14, 15, 16.
This was the 30-kilometer race, twice around a 15-kilometer course.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The better skiers get to start later and have the advantage of a well-worn track and more time to steady the nerves.
Say if you get too uptight before a race, or if you're nervous or something like that, chances are you're not gonna really be able to ski real fast. So you just gotta be real loose, but at the same time that you're loose, you gotta be real psyched up.
Go on, Bill. All right.
Having started at 30-second intervals, the skiers do pass one another, of course, but the real race is against the clock and the constantly changing terrain.
On the uphills, it's more like running. It's kind of running up the hills. We also, like on gradual downhills and some flats, we double pole, which is using both arms at once, and then gliding.
At Innsbruck in 1976, Koch was pushing like the little engine that could, and he stunned the world with a second-place finish and a silver medal. The potential boycott against the 1980 Summer Olympics leaves Koch, as it does most athletes, backing his government and wishing he didn't have to.
I absolutely support the boycott. If I were a summer athlete, I would not go to Moscow. You can't separate, you can't just live in a little ideal world and say that politics has nothing to do with sports. As far as athletes are concerned, I don't have any ill feelings towards any other athletes of other countries. I consider myself pretty good friends with the Russian athletes, and I see them every year. It's just, it's the governments here that's messing this whole thing up.
In Quebec, Koch finished second in the 30 kilometers. It had been a long, laboring hour and a half, a tune-up for Lake Placid.
Wasn't keying in for these races at all. Right now I'm trying to get in the last good quality training that I know I need between now and the Olympics, which is a lot of endurance training. And these races are just kind of happening. I'm not really keying in for them.
I'd like to officially welcome you to the USSA National Cross Country Championships.
Koch's wife, Katie, and daughter, Leah, accompanied him to Quebec for the races and the modest awards ceremony.
In second place, U.S. ski team member from Guilford, Vermont, Bill Koch.
The trophy, a beer mug. Amateurs don't touch money, at least not prize money, but they can make a living from equipment makers. In Koch's case, a manufacturer provides a modest but adequate income channeled through and controlled by the U.S. ski team. The figures are a no-no, but they're substantial enough so that Koch does not have to hold down a job.
This is how I feed my family. You know, this whole amateur professional thing it's really crazy, you know, so, you know, I've got to eat just like anyone else, and I consider this my profession, and I'm proud of that.
Koch was 2 years old when his father put him on skis. Leah Koch is 2 now, and this father has learned that sometimes it's better to make haste slowly.
She's so little now that, you know, she can't really enjoy skiing, and I'm not going to have her go skiing unless she really wants to and asks me to go, which she's only done 2 or 3 times so far. But when she wants to, in a couple of years, I'm sure she'll enjoy it.
Two years ago in Lake Placid, New York, Jim Craig, the goaltender for the United States Olympic hockey team, was the most famous athlete in the land. He was that week's Lindbergh. Today, Craig is just another injured big league hockey player, a non-playing member of the Boston Bruins, hoping for one more ride on the carousel. In the early weeks of 1982, Jim Craig skates alone on the rink at Boston University where his hockey star was born. Since his college days, Craig, still only 24 years old, has been as famous as an athlete can get. Now he's trying not to become a memory.
Craig makes the save.
The U.S. team is depending a little bit too much now on Jim Craig. He's making too many good saves.
Craig has 33 saves tonight. Jim Craig, tested time and time again, played every minute of every game thus far in the tournament. The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
When the United States Olympic hockey team beat the Soviets 2 years ago in Lake Placid, it touched off an orgy of patriotic fervor reminiscent of VE Day.
No words necessary, just pictures.
And when the Olympians followed that up with a win over Finland for the gold medal, they became Lindberghian heroes. And none was more lionized than Jim Craig, the goaltender, who was wrapped in an American flag and looked over the crowd to share this precious moment with his dad. A star was rising.
People basically treated me fabulously. You have the young girls who, you know, send you letters or wish you could be at their birthday party, or you know, send you gifts all the time, which is nice. And then you have the older people who respected what you did for your country and how you helped your country out.
Great being in Washington, you know what I mean? Got the gold medal, going to meet the president. I can't believe it.
Jim Craig was on the merry-go-round. He did meet the president, appeared on TV shows. The star brightened.
Well, welcome to Atlanta.
Pleasure to meet you guys.
Delighted to see you. And so I'd like to send and present to you.
Governor Busby of Georgia made Craig an honorary lieutenant colonel on the governor's staff.
And you'll notice that I'm commander-in-chief.
Craig had been drafted by the Atlanta Flames of the National Hockey League.
And why don't you take that suit jacket off and put the jersey on now?
Bone-tired and maybe a little bored, Craig was paraded around Atlanta like a plaster saint.
I will present a proclamation which will declare tomorrow to be Jim Craig Day in Atlanta on behalf of all the citizens. 4 years, very proud to be an Atlanta Flame. I appreciate the turnout you came, and thank you very much.
In Atlanta 2 years ago, Jim Craig literally and figuratively was #1. The star was near its zenith.
Thank you very much for coming to Atlanta.
And less than a week after he had helped win the gold medal, Jim Craig, Frank Merriwell on skates, was playing for the Flames, a big league goaltender, before the only sellout crowd that season in Atlanta. And just like Frank Merriwell, he won his first game. And just as he had done in Lake Placid, he shared his triumph with his father. 2 hours later, they made a commercial.
Got a lot to smile about lately.
But the 1980 season was nearly over by now, and the Flames, who were moving to Calgary, traded Craig to Boston. The honeymoon was over. Craig's star was beginning to dim.
I would never want to see that Olympic moment or the series be forgotten, and yet I would like to be good enough so they could say to me, he's Jim Craig, the NHL goalie, but I guess I want both.
Back in Boston, his hometown, where he had starred in college, Craig had troubles. After half the 80-81 season, he was benched for good, but refused to be sent to the minors. The Bruins and their fans were not amused. The love affair was going sour. Bruin general manager Harry Sinden.
He really didn't perform up to the standard he set that Sunday in Lake Placid last year with the Bruins, and the sport fan is he's unforgiving. You got to perform today and forget yesterday.
I think what happened at the Olympics maybe was that when things went well, people were too good to me, and things didn't go as well, maybe not as good to me as I kind of wished, but that's fair.
How's your finger feel today?
Stiff. I told you
Still?
like yesterday when we worked on it yesterday at Benton. Today it gets stiff again.
Woe piled upon woe for Craig. Last fall, before this NHL season began, he broke a finger playing for Team USA.
Where is that painful for you?
Where isn't it?
Right in the joint or along the outside?
On the outside.
Okay. How does that feel?
Then the Bruins persuaded him to play himself back into shape in the minors in Erie, Pennsylvania. While there, he discovered a growth in his shoulder. It was a bone spur. He had it removed. He still undergoes ultrasound deep heat treatment.
How often do you use the Nautilus?
Every other day. And then I go in the cardiovascular system on an ankle.
Fracture
Right
is right
Right there.
That's where the fracture is.
Then Craig fell off a stepladder and broke his ankle. The cast came off a month ago.
I push off on this leg, I coast on that leg. I mean, right there.
Well, when you land it.
Craig's agent is sports lawyer Bob Wolf.
It's almost as if the compensation god decided, look, we gave Jim so much one year, we're going to take back a little this year and just to even things up, and that's what's happened with Jim, because it's been one injury after the other, and hopefully this ends it all.
As long as I stay on top of my thing, it doesn't hurt. When I turn, it doesn't feel that good.
Right now he's getting into shape, and we're trying to get clearance from the doctors to have him go back and play hockey.
All the way up.
On the
Craig is determined not to be washed up at 24, to work himself into shape for one more crack at big-time hockey.
That's gonna be 5.
One more.
Before the star, lit by the Olympic flame, flickers out.
And relax.
There are other areas that he could go into, including doing TV work and maybe doing some work with some of the soap operas or other things that are available to him. But first and foremost, he's considering is hockey. I know he could have done, we had the script over there for do a Love Boat, and we could do Mork and Mindy, or we could do Happy Days, and there's just any number of things that are open to him. But he said he wants to put everything like that on the back burner. His first love is hockey, and that's what he wants to pay all his attention to.
I don't have a problem. If I'm not good enough to play in the National Hockey League, then I just won't. And if I happen to be good enough to play in the NHL and I just don't like it, then I won't play. And that's not a problem.
I think what he needs right now is some patience. He has to put in his time. You have to sacrifice a little at this point. And when the opportunity comes, and it invariably will come, whether it be with us in the National Hockey League or some other team, he has to be ready to show them.
You're treated as it's a business, and you're treated as a completely different than I was as an amateur. Solison was a big adjustment because it's just such a business. I mean, I am not going to die tomorrow if somebody says to me, Jimmy, you're just not good enough to play.
"31-year-old Dr. Mike Woods of Milwaukee is perhaps the best U.S. hope for an Olympic distance skating medal at Sarajevo.
Might get a little bit of a taste of garlic in your mouth, and you just kind of slowly fade off into dreamland. And we'll see you in the recovery room, huh?
Woods is an assistant professor at the University of Wisconsin Medical School and a staff anesthesiologist at the Milwaukee Veterans Administration Hospital. He sees himself, whether under a woolen hat or a surgical cap, as performing tasks which, philosophically at least, have similarities.
Neither one's really monotonous. The skating may look monotonous, but actually it's not. Every push that we take, or that I take anyway, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, and in a weird sort of way, I guess they're even similar.
Open your eyes for me. Just going to help you breathe a little bit.
Both require an inordinate amount of concentration. To be a good physician, particularly with patients who are essentially critically ill for a short period of time, takes a lot of concentration. On the other hand, skating, it's the same way. You're watching me go around in circles this afternoon for 50 laps, and it may look monotonous, but the ability to do that with some speed and at the same time do so efficiently takes an inordinate amount of continuous concentration with every push that I take. And so in that way they're similar. They're high achievement sorts of things, goal-oriented types of things.
Like many driven people, Woods finds failure almost a stimulus. In 2 previous Olympic efforts, he finished 12th and 4th at 10,000 meters. Still, after a 2-year layoff for the urgent realities of a medical residency, it took only an invitation to help raise funds for a local skating facility to send him back to the repetitive swoops of the training regimen.
Last year, somebody taught me into doing a marathon skate, in which I skated approximately 250 miles. And part of the thing with that was that I didn't want to hurt myself. And I found that by the middle of winter, I was in pretty reasonable shape. I could skate in the distances as well as most Americans. And I also found that I had fairly fond memories, and on the other hand, bittersweet memories at the same time, getting fourth in the last Olympics in the 10,000.
A large part of any sports page these days is a march of mighty numbers, the rewards of big-time athletics. For Dr. Mike Woods, however, the numbers that are interesting are the fractions of a second, which may mean he is marching toward an Olympic speed skating medal. And the number he's sure of is the financial sacrifice the march has asked of him.
For young doctors, VA hospitals are rich only in experience, and Woods' wages are eroded by half because of time taken off for training.
It's cost me financially. There's no doubt about that. This year, I've missed 20 weeks of work as a practicing anesthesiologist, and that kind of financial loss adds up real quickly. But it hasn't been a burden. I'd much rather be doing what I'm doing than making money.
4-5, 4-5.
Sue Woods, who works as a nurse, spends her slim allowance of free time fighting frostbite and clocking her husband on his athletic rounds.
I'm happy to help him out now. He's very considerate of my feelings. Whenever I go out, no matter what the weather is, he says thank you to me whenever I give him lap times. It's been rewarding to me also. You know, my time will come. It always does. Things even out.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and paralyze him, huh?
Woods enjoys teaching, whether in the operating room or on the ice, but has discovered that making things clear is sometimes rather like skating in sand.
Teaching an athletic sort of thing is it's more frustrating than teaching something in the classroom, because what I'm doing not really in the classroom, but in the operating room, I can tell somebody a fact, they can absorb it. If they go home and read a little bit about it, they can tell me about it the next day. But what you have is a patient that looks like a fish that's out of water, essentially. But when I'm on the ice and I tell somebody that I want them to rotate their hip in such and such a direction and push at such and such a time, they can absorb it, they can go home and read about it, and when it comes time to do it, it just doesn't always happen. And so in a strange sort of way, coaching is much more frustrating.
Do you find that some of your fellow physicians regard you as a celebrity? That you're different from other doctors because you are a world-class athlete?
A little bit. I think not so much from the doctors, but doctors in general have large egos, and the majority of them, they aren't impressed really by much of anything except the things that they're doing. But a lot of the people around the hospital, I guess, are a little bit impressed. You know, I think they're happy for me, and they're friends, and they're glad that they're going to be able to watch a large event like this and know somebody in it. I think they're excited about that. I don't think I'm considered particularly a celebrity. I don't think anyone looks at me any differently than their other cohorts.
Thank you very much. As I said, if you don't like it, melt it down and have your teeth fixed with that.
I'll have a different attitude, I think, after this games than I had after the last ones. It hurt real bad the last time when I finished fourth, and I think win, lose, or draw, I've had a real good time at this year. I think no matter how things go in Yugoslavia, I'll be glad I did things the way I did. And I'll be competitive.
Mark Phillips introduces us now to an athlete who cannot win any medals, but who has already won nearly everybody's heart.
The first thing you have to understand about ski jumping is that most normal people don't do it. That wasn't the sound of a jet flying overhead. That's the noise these guys make flying off the 90-meter ramp.
That's right.
Into this world of unlikely human flight has come an unlikely hero. Eddie the Eagle Edwards, a little guy with Coke bottle glasses, out to prove that a construction worker from the English Midlands can fly too. Eddie the Eagle, a true Olympian. Eddie has become the toast of Calgary.
I mean, I've been fighting to get to the Olympics for 11 years, and I finally did it. I'm by no means the best jumper.
As Olympic ski jumpers go, Eddie is not very good. In fact, he's awful. In the 70-meter jump here, Eddie not only finished last, he finished dead last.
I was so nervous, you know, at the top on the 70. I mean, I was almost sick at the top because not the jumps or the fear of falling or anything like that. It was just the competition.
Eddie was not only behind the competition, his distances were a good 25 yards shorter than the average jumpers.
You don't know if he's going to make it, and you don't know if he's going to do well or what. You know, it's always, you just don't know what's going to happen.
Well, I think everybody can identify with the English plasterer, the nerve to go jump off of that thing, because I sure don't have it.
An English plasterer from the town of Cheltenham, not a place where Olympic ski jumping dreams are normally born. But Eddie has been working out on the town's dry slope and training in other unorthodox ways. Eddie uses some strange techniques and some strange metaphors.
We're fighting a real uphill battle, and mine is vertical. It's so steep.
Eddie has no coach and no sponsor. What he has is determination and a family that's been behind him from the start, not only tolerating his dream, his mother says, but backing it.
I've got a very good bank manager, and I'm very good at groveling.
Eddie's sister.
I think he's crazy. Why? Have you seen those jumps?
Eddie's notoriety has made the people of his hometown a little curious about ski jumping.
Eddie Edwards, the ski jumper who's become a cult hero.
The local TV station has tried to help them out.
We went to the top of Cheltenham's tallest office block, the one, believe it or not, with the eagle outside. This is a 90-meter drop. With Eddie's eyesight, it'll look like this.
It's not that Eddie takes the dangers of ski jumping lightly.
It's always on your mind that your next jump could be your last. The fear's always there. You can't get rid of it, but it's just, it turns into a sort of a respect for the hill.
90 meters.
Eddie has jumped before on the European circuit with the high flyers, a poor working-class kid with some poor working-class stories.
I was jumping with this really old helmet, and I just used string to hold it in place. And the string snapped when I was at the top of the jump, and I went down and took off. And the pressure was so great, as I was flying, my helmet fell off. And so I landed and stopped, and all of a sudden, boing, boing, this helmet would come flying past me.
Every circus has a clown, and Eddie is the clown from the jumping circus.
Arne Torgersen is a writer for a paper in Norway where they don't find Eddie that amusing.
I think he's good for the public, but not for the sport.
Why?
Because he's too bad.
Oh, he sails through the air with no ease at all. Our great eagle Eddie, he's having a ball.
The eagle has not only been adopted by Calgary, it has come to his rescue. The fire department taking up a collection to help with Eddie's expenses.
$450 there.
Eddie still has to jump here in the big 90-meter event. To get away from all the attention, he retired into the Rockies this weekend to try to get his mind back on the main reason he's here, to jump. The little guy, being rooted for by little guys everywhere.
He sails through the air with no ease at all. Our great eagle Eddie, he's having a ball. His pop bottle glasses can't cause him to fall, but our hearts he has taken away.
And now a page from our Sunday Morning Almanac, January 6th, 1994, the day the genteel sport of figure skating became a media circus. For that was the day an assailant clubbed Nancy Kerrigan on the leg as she left the ice after practice at the U.S. Olympic trials in Detroit.
Someone was running by me and
and he just like whacked me with this long black stick.
The attack plunged Kerrigan's Olympic dreams into doubt and focused suspicion on rival skater Tonya Harding.
How are you feeling right now?
It's been a long week.
Within days, Harding's estranged husband, Jeff Gillooly, was arrested, along with 3 other men. Harding herself, on the other hand, proclaimed her innocence.
I may have some bad points about me, but overall, I think I'm a pretty good person.
After weeks in the media spotlight, Kerrigan and Harding faced off at the Olympics in Lillehammer, Norway. Despite her injuries, Kerrigan won silver, while Harding, who had problems with her skate laces, finished well out of the running.
I'm accepting a plea of guilty.
Harding later pleaded guilty to hindering prosecution, receiving 3 years probation and a $100,000 fine. In a final blow, the U.S. Figure Skating Association banned her for life. The story lives on in our national memory, most recently in the 2017 film I, Tonya, with Margot Robbie in the starring role.
Just send me to jail and then I can still skate.
Just
send me to jail and then I can still skate.
I've given you my decision.
It's a story skating fans hope will be told and retold only on the screen and never again on the ice.
You've been watching people do some pretty strange things on snow and ice the past 2 weeks. The Winter Olympics began back in 1924 with a few normal events like skating and skiing. And yes, one that was not all that normal. But the Winter Olympics has now ballooned to 68 different medal events, some more different than others. Who thought this one up? If there's a 2-man luge, why not 3 men, one holding a goldfish bowl? As these Olympics draw to a close, you must be thinking there couldn't possibly be anything further that human beings could think up to do on snow and ice. Well, think again. There's a whole gaggle of new events seeking to become Olympic medal sports. If 1 or 2 humans can figure skate, why not, say, a dozen or so?
You've got to bend the knees, get really down deep into the ice surface, all right?
Precision skating is making a strong bid to be in the Salt Lake City Games in 2002. The only drawback, the prohibitive cost of 72 gold, silver, and bronze medals for these rockets on ice.
Skeleton, jump on the skeleton. Dave Perks takes us down the track.
Also trying to barrel head first into the Salt Lake City Games are skeleton sledders, daredevils who sometimes resemble limp shirts in a clothes dryer. And they may not be the craziest would-be Olympians. Those would probably be the speed skiers.
Yeah, we're all nuts.
Ice climbing, it's on the rise, touting its growing fan base. Ski dancing, staged an exhibition in Nagano. But really, ballet on skis? Isn't that like trying to play a Chopin piano recital with canned hams tied to your hands? And snow biking. What next? Snow shoveling? Yep, snow shovel racing.
So again, I want to welcome everybody to the 25th Annual World Shovel Race Championships here in snow-covered Angel Fire, New Mexico.
Some people are taking this goofy-looking sport pretty seriously.
I gotta get serious. I gotta get serious.
And this is modified snow shovel racing, very modified. One-man bobsleds built over shovels. Kermit Brown here, who calls himself the Kerminator, is a spokesman for the modified snow shovel Olympic movement.
It's going to get bigger and bigger. There's a lot more sleds showing up. So I hope it just goes crazy. Anybody's listening, get your sleds together, let's go.
racer John Strader.
I mean, I can only imagine how beautiful it would be if every country had their own modified entry in the Olympics. It would be so intense. I mean, it would be the most exciting thing to hit the Olympics in a long time. Watch out, bobsled. We want to run on your course.
But believe it or not, snow shovel racing may not be the most bizarre event trying to gain admittance to the Winter Olympics. That distinction belongs to bridge.
One spade.
An Olympic Executive Board member is an ardent bridge player and would actually like to see the card game become an Olympic sport. No special stadiums required, just a bowl of nuts. Your bid, Peekaboo.
How about 7 hearts?
Peekaboo's holding all the cards. 3, 2, 1, go. The Winter Olympics, never completely normal, slides into the 21st century with its future in good hands.
Here's a little Olympic quiz for you, with a Scottish accent. Name a contribution to world culture that comes from these highlands but does not involve kilts or bagpipes. A pastime that does not involve hitting a little white ball with a club, and also doesn't require the fermentation and consumption of an intoxicating amber liquid. Here's a hint. It's cold up here in the wintertime, and in the old days there wasn't much to do. Here's another hint. The land up here is rocky. The answer? What is curling? A game that involves sliding heavy stones along the ice and crashing them into each other. A game that the Scots will tell you is finally getting the respect and Olympic recognition it deserves. You want to know more about curling? Yes! Start with the rock and get a little help from Doug Dryburgh, the Scot who's captain of the British team at Nagano. This is a stone, right?
44 pounds.
Yeah.
If you turn it over, okay, you'll see that it's made of solid granite. The object of the game then, Mark, is to throw it up the other end to the target, called the house, at the far side, yeah?
Which is this sort of target thing.
These rings are called the house, yeah.
The second thing you have to know is that it's harder than it looks.
And release it. Good.
That's not going to go anywhere. Cut. This is the way it's supposed to be done. It's a game that's a triumph of Scottish practicality. If the two things you have in winter are ice and rocks, make the best of them. The Scots took the game with them when they emigrated. It's played in the American Midwest and Canada and has spread to Northern Europe. It may be popular where it's played, but to much of the world, it's a total mystery. If you had to describe the sport of curling to someone who never heard from curling, how would you describe it?
To play bowls?
No.
To play ice hockey?
Yeah.
Ice hockey on ice like the fights.
Or the skates or the sticks.
Or the skates or the sticks. Or the excitement.
Or the puck.
As you might say.
Or the excitement. Take that as a little Scottish humor. Curling has the same sort of excitement as golf or bowling, except that it's a team game that requires skill and nerve.
The teamwork, the tension that's involved, coming down to the last stone, and the nerves of the guys. Can the nerves hold? Can the nerves break? It really comes down to a crunch stone, and you've got to hold your nerve.
But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. Curling will be a medal sport for the first time at the Nagano Games. But to really appreciate how far the game has come, you've got to get right down on the ice and slip and slide your way back through a little history. Curling's not only gone big time, it's gone high tech. We've not only got precision milled rocks these days, we've got satellite international television coverage, we've got Olympic medals, and we've got artificial ice. But this isn't how curling really began. Out here is where curling began on the Grand Lochs of Scotland, like the famous Loch Ness, where Scottish farmers centuries ago developed the game of launching these huge rocks out onto the frozen lochs. Of course, it was colder then.
You're talking 15th, 16th century, basically, in Scotland. The farmers, during the winter, couldn't plough the fields because they were too hard, and the ponds and lochs were over-frozen. So they played on them. They started playing with rough stones and handles, lobbing them back up. It was a very social game. A few bottles of whiskey, they ended up like Bambi on ice.
And the old-timers like Robin Welsh still speak nostalgically of those frigid old days and the tipple that kept them warm.
Outdoor curling there's nothing like it, really. You get the red sun overhead, the keen air, the drop of the old Koch for when you have a break, and everyone had a hip flask usually.
Back indoors and back in the present, international curling is a sober and serious game of touch and strategy. The object is to get as many of your team's stones closer to the center of the target than the other team's. And the fun really starts after the player lets go of the stone. This isn't housekeeping, the sweeping has a purpose.
It's a good team game as well because you've got the sweepers who make a difference of about 15 feet to a stone. So that the strategy calling the game, the skipper in the head, the house, the target as you call it, he's trying to read the ice like a golf green.
For the uninitiated, you might look at curling and think, what is this about? Is this a floor sweeping contest or is this some sort of a sport? What does the sweeping do for the process of curling?
What it does is polishes the surface of the ice. And that has less friction on the stone then, the ice, as it's polished, and so it'll go further. It doesn't speed up the stone, but it just makes it go further and it keeps it on target.
The Scots may not win gold here, even at the game they invented, although they are given a good shot at a medal. But they're already enjoying one victory, curling as an official Olympic sport. So listen to the roar of the stones and the crash of the competition. Imagine the old days on the frozen Highland Lochs, and if you care to, raise a glass of cheer to toast another great Scottish export that's been embraced by the world. They surely will up here.
You can hear the call blowing with the snow down the mountains, whispering around the powdery paths, cutting through the ice. The Olympics are headed to Salt Lake City. Ready or not, here they come. American athletes are ready. Just ask speed skater Ava Radansky.
I think the athletes are really excited to have the games here.
Or Olympic downhill champ Peekaboo Street.
We're going to put on a show in Salt Lake. It's going to be spectacular.
Or cross-country skier Nina Kempel.
With the things that have been going on in the world right now, it's really refreshing that we can have pure athletics. And, it is our chance to shine.
A chance to shine. Such dreams drove the people of Salt Lake City, too, motivated them to fight hard to secure the Games. So, with the arrival of the Olympic torch just weeks away, this proud city is finishing up the Olympic Village, racing to get ready like some debutante preparing for her coming out party, hoping to divert attention from terror and war. At the Wasatch Brew Pub at the foot of the Olympic ski venues, most patrons say, "Let the Games begin."
I think it's going to be a great opportunity for everybody to see what the state is all about.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, number one, and to have it in the States is great.
Greg Scherf owns the pub at the heart of nearby Park City.
I couldn't be more excited about it. There have been some mixed emotions about the Games, but right now I think we're looking ahead. The Games are coming, and we're going to be ready, and we're going to pull it off.
The International Olympic Committee.
These 2002 Winter Olympics are the culmination of a concerted 4-decade-long effort by Salt Lake City to convince the International Olympic Committee to let it host the Games.
To the city of Salt Lake City.
The city was granted its wish in 1995.
Those seem like almost innocent days now. Even with Olympic venues like this speed skating rink getting up and running, the mood here in Salt Lake City is a far cry from the euphoria that greeted the winning bid. It's been dampened over the years by some hard, bitter doses of reality.
First, in early 1999, this reserved city built on Mormon piety was rocked and sullied by revelations that organizers had handed out gifts, trips, and scholarships to influence the votes of IOC members.
It should not have happened. We are very sorry.
The vote-buying scandal froze Olympic sponsors cold, throwing the Games into deep financial crisis. And then came September 11th.
And I began to recognize that the Games meant more in this new world than perhaps before. The Games affirmed civilization and humanity.
Businessman and politician Mitt Romney runs the Salt Lake Organizing Committee now. He stepped in to clean up the scandal and has faced one battle after another.
I think there are a number of people in this community who say, gosh, if I'd have known what was coming, if I'd have known about the bid scandal, the financial crises, and then the war on terrorism, I would not have wanted these games coming to Salt Lake City. And I can sympathize with that view personally. But we have won the bid. We did ask for the games, and we don't have the option to turn around and say, never mind, take the games back. Too much is at stake now. We've made a commitment. We have to follow through.
Following through these days means first and foremost making sure these Winter Games are safe. But the thought that these Olympics could be held in a nation at war is on everyone's mind. Olympians like skier Peekaboo Street.
I feel safe and I think it's going to be a great show. I just hope we get the terrorists taken care of in time to have peace there.
And residents like Barbara Jean Case.
And we just have our fingers crossed, that nothing will go wrong this time. It's true. It's in everybody's mind.
Olympic security has been a priority since terrorists killed 11 Israeli athletes and coaches at the 1972 Summer Games in Munich. With the last U.S. Games, the '96 Summer Games in Atlanta, marred by a terrorist bombing, security arrangements for Salt Lake City already were some of the most comprehensive and certainly the most costly ever. $270 million budgeted originally, boosted by an infusion of $40 million federal dollars after September 11th.
We certainly don't expect anything to happen here. We're prepared if it does, and we're doing everything we can to prevent it.
Former FBI Special Agent David Tubbs heads the Utah Olympic Public Safety Command.
Has there ever been an Olympics quite like this one?
No, because of the circumstances we're in right now. With everything going on in Afghanistan and everything with the anthrax situation here in the United States, probably not.
From this wired nerve center, he'll be coordinating the efforts of more than 60 state and federal agencies.
Will this be going on round the clock?
Yeah, this is a
24-hour operation.
From the Secret Service, FBI, the FAA, to the Utah National Guard, city and state police, even emergency medical services. More than 8,000 agents in all.
I think I calculated that the number of security people, including our own staff in the security area, will be almost 1 out of every 6 people who come to the state will be a security person.
I think there are a lot of people that are scared, and I'm a little nervous about it.
All the security plans are cold comfort for Salt Lake citizens like Dita Seed, a former city council member who's grown more opposed to the games with each new set of troubles.
I think there are some people that feel very strongly that we made a mistake in seeking to have the Olympic Games here. It's sort of like this thing hanging over our heads, but there isn't anything I can do about it. It's coming. We've got to deal with it.
Resident Joe Sayer says he knows how he's dealing with it.
Are you going to be here for it? Are you going to leave town or what?
No, I'm leaving. Hopefully, I got to go to Florida for a couple of weeks, and then I'll come back.
The anxiety level has gone up for certain, but...
Jay Shellady is editor of the city's most influential newspaper, the Salt Lake Tribune.
But if money buys security, then we'll have to be the safest place on the planet.
He's covered Olympic preparations, scandals, and crises, and keeps his finger on the public pulse with periodic polls.
Generally, Utahns have been pretty consistent on how they view the games. About a third would just as soon they not occur. A third really are looking forward to the games. And a third are somewhat ambivalent and accept the fact that the games are coming, whether anybody likes them or not. They're going to be here, so I suppose most people would say, let's make the most of it.
Resignation and fear weren't part of the equation when a giddy Salt Lake City first rolled out the welcome mat to the world. Then it was all about the glory and the spotlight for the city and the athletes, like cross-country skier Wendy Wagner.
This is our opportunity to come out and show the world what we've been working so hard for.
The last 5 years have been sobering ones for Salt Lake City, but Mitt Romney says rolling in the welcome mat now is unthinkable.
I feel that the games have to go forward under any circumstances because these young athletes have contributed and given so much to get ready for these games. We owe them the opportunity to compete.
Everyone hears the call from the mountains. It cheers some and chills others. The Olympics are coming to Salt Lake City, ready or not.
One final time for Lindsey Vonn.
For Lindsey Vonn, it was a reluctant farewell, the last run of her stellar career. In the world of alpine skiing, few have been more decorated. She's won almost every major title, from World Cup championships.
So Lindsey Vonn into the lead by more than a half second.
To Olympic medals.
Sometimes when you're in it, you don't really think about
what it took to get each one.
Yeah, I think you just have a different perspective. You know, you're focused on the next one and racing and, you know, performance, and you never really get to look back and say like, hey, good job.
Yeah.
She was fast, reaching speeds of up to 85 miles an hour. She was also fearless.
Allow yourself to get onto the charge. She goes down hard. Goes down.
And resilient. Crash after terrible crash.
As she hits 1, 2, 3. And as she shakes it off.
She always fought her way back.
And now has dropped back. And Vonn over the top.
But 2013, that was one of her hardest seasons.
Oh, and the landing is absolutely awful to watch.
Vonn's right knee bore the brunt of that crash, and it was never really the same. Fast forward almost 6 years, the day of her last race, bum knee and all.
For the final time in her storied career,
Still, she somehow took home the bronze anyway.
And we've seen this scene quite a bit. The 82 World Cup wins, the 20 World Cup titles.
But at 34, she was retired.
Skiing was always my son, and everything in my life revolved around it. What time I woke up, what I ate, when I went to bed, you know, it was all dictated around what's best for my skiing career. And then I woke up one day and my son is gone.
Say hi, Lindsey. Ski racing is all Lindsey Vonn ever really wanted. Her dad, a former alpine skier himself, moved the family from Minnesota to Vail, Colorado, just so that Lindsey could train for the 2002 Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. The same slopes she now sees from her home in Park City, Utah.
This is kind of just where I go to, you know, regroup and charge my batteries, and the dogs love it.
Who's my big boy?
In retirement, she kept many of her corporate sponsors, which helped her buy homes in Miami and Beverly Hills, too.
Looking gorgeous as usual.
She continued to wow red carpets, and not racing gave her more time to pour into her foundation, helping underserved girls achieve their own athletic dreams. But that knee, that kept getting worse.
I just couldn't do the things I love to do anymore.
Was that bad?
Yeah, it was really bad. I couldn't straighten it all the way, I couldn't flex it all the way, and so I just stuck in this half state that ended up causing hip pain, back pain, neck pain. It wasn't just my knee, unfortunately. It was kind of everything, you know. It's like you get to the end of your rope and you gotta make a decision, so I did.
I'm ready.
A knee replacement. The outer portion of her right knee is now titanium.
Sounds like, though, you didn't do it to get back into skiing. You just did
No.
it to, like, live your life.
Yeah,
right?
I don't need to ski. I am Lindsey. I am not a skier. I'm a person that loves to ski. And that's a really big distinction for me and in my mind, in my heart.
How soon afterwards did you wonder how far you could push it?
It was pretty quickly after.
Only 4 months, in fact, she took her coaches to New Zealand to acquaint her new knee with her old sport.
It just was such a drastic difference that I thought, well, if I can do all of these things that used to hurt me before, where would that take me, you know? And then my mind starts to wander, and, you know.
And here we are.
And here we are.
And where she is,
Lindsey Vonn at age 40 is ready again for prime time.
is back on the U.S. ski team and hoping to qualify for one more trip to the Olympics. Italy, 2026.
I will be at a disadvantage. I am 40, and at that time next year I will be 41.
40-year-old Lindsey Vonn just off the podium in the Americans.
But I know my skiing is there. I think I'm actually skiing better now than I was last few years of my career.
Is there some good-natured ribbing?
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Like what?
There's one girl that calls me grandma, which I don't exactly appreciate, but there's definitely, you know, some jokes around the team that, you know, I raced in my first Olympics before one of the girls was born.
She knew there would be some raised eyebrows, but she got more than that, with some critics going so far as to question her sanity. These past few weeks have been tough, she posted on Instagram last month. I know there are only a few voices out of many, but it still hurts.
What I didn't expect was people to criticize me as a person and why I'm doing it, and that I can't handle life outside of ski racing.
She dismisses most of it, choosing to concentrate on training smarter, not harder.
It's not like I'm preparing for another 10 years of my skiing career. I'm just preparing for 1 year for literally 2 races.
She's put the rest of her life on hold for the moment. A single goal does require a singularity of focus, much like making her banana bread does.
I need to put on weight, man.
Do you really?
Yeah, I'm about 20 pounds less than I was when I was racing before.
That brand of determination, she says, came from her mom, Lindy Lund.
She would have given anything to play tennis, to play squash, to ride a bike, and she couldn't.
Her mom suffered a stroke while pregnant with Lindsey in 1984. It was debilitating, but she soldiered on without complaint. When she was diagnosed with ALS, once known as Lou Gehrig's disease, she, like her daughter, wasn't about to give up.
She thought that she could beat the odds and she could be the one that would live 20 more years, and she lasted 1. Man, it was hard. I still got her number in my phone. I still message her.
Do you? You just call her and talk to her?
I send her a text message.
Do you really?
Yeah. Yeah.
She said her mom would want her to be flying high once again, even though winning another downhill will be an uphill battle.
1.18 off the pace.
In a sport measured in hundredths of a second, the difference between first and last can be minuscule. But on this second go-around, Lindsey Vonn is taking time to savor the view just as much as the chase.
The fact that I'm even talking about going to Olympics right now is something I never thought I would ever do. So I'm already winning.